Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and this is my Seattle Real Estate Market Watch for January 23rd, 2024. Well, so far the Seattle housing market is off to a strong start in 2024, and when I say strong, I mean that the activity is picking up. We're seeing more listings coming on the market, which is a good sign. We were in a situation where I was thinking we might be running out of houses to sell if we didn't start to see the inventory picking up. So last week we had 344 new listings in King and Snohomish counties, and that was up from 254 the week prior. So again, things are picking up. We had 84 price reductions last week, only 80 this week. We're not seeing as much of the price reduction activity because, well, number one, there aren't as many listings to have the prices reduced, and also things are starting to sell a little bit quicker. We did have a client this last week that got a house under asking price, so there are still opportunities. Houses that were maybe priced a little high or have been sitting on the market for a little while at the end of the year in a slower time. Those are houses where if you're a buyer right now, you have an opportunity to potentially negotiate the price down or have more favorable terms in your offer. I think that's going to change here soon as things are starting to pick up. Houses are starting to sell quickly. There's an appraiser that I know who's mentioned that they're getting a lot more requests all of a sudden, which is normally something they would see towards the spring, and it's already starting to happen right now in January. Now, if we look at the contingent sales, we've talked about this on this update here off and on, but we had 9 last week versus 10 the previous week. What this means is that people are still able to buy contingent on selling their house. And that's a good sign for somebody who needs to sell before they buy. It's a lot more enjoyable as a buyer to be able to sell the house simultaneously with the new purchase versus maybe selling first and moving out, or maybe buying the house and having 2 mortgages. I do think that this year we might see the contingencies get close to extinct this year. We'll see. But the contingent on the sale of a home purchase in a hot market is virtually non-existent, and I would expect that as things start to pick up, it might be more difficult. But there's still a window right now to make that simultaneous jump. Expired listings, not very many here, 23 last week versus 24 the week before. Not a substantial number. I think we'll start to see expired listings dwindling as well in 2024. I think more of the listings are going to sell. Pending sales, we saw an uptick in pending sales, 596 versus 522 the previous week. We also saw an uptick in the sold listings, 323 versus 256 the week prior. So overall, the sales activity in King and Snohomish County is picking up. I think the new listings is a big piece of that, and I also think that the return of some buyers into the market is also a piece to the puzzle. Now, let's talk about rates real quick, because rates were in the mid 6s, around 6.5, 6.6 beginning of the year, according to the Mortgage News Daily mortgage survey that they do every single day. Now we're looking at 6.92% as of today. So rates have been slowly inching towards 7%. They were at 6.77 in last week's video, and today they're hovering closer to 7%. Now, the Fed is still signaling that they're going to do 3 rate drops here in 2024, which is also then hopefully going to affect the housing market and the mortgage interest rates as well. I do think mortgage rates are going to be coming down, and that is going to stimulate the housing market. But I think it also might be a little slower than some are hoping. It is looking like it's going to be a little bit later in 2024 than on the early side. So if this year is anything like last year, we're going to have less activity. We're going to have less listings. We're going to have some competition in the spring. We're starting to see it already in the housing market. And we, even last year with higher rates, saw competition in the spring. And I think as we head towards the rest of the year, so we maybe get past the spring and rates start to come down, we may just see a prolonged season of competition and a prolonged window in 2024 where there's a lot of housing activity and it's maybe the spring selling season in the summer as well. So we'll see. 2024 is just beginning, but if the beginning of the year is any indication, I think that the housing market in Seattle is going to continue to heat up in the new year.